We do love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Cheers, son. Hello, welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. I'm Matty, and I'm here for a good old waffle on about transfer bullshit. Yeah, lots to talk about in terms of rumours the last few days. A lot of it I think's rubbish. I don't like none of this clickbaity stuff, but I know it's the transfer talk. I like hearing about it. I like reading about it. Whether I think it's rubbish or not, it's quite funny. So I'm not going to put clickbait stuff out there, but I'm going to touch on the bits that I think are crap, the bits that I'd like to see happen. We're Leeds United with a massive club with a big fish in this league, and a lot of people want to write about us. So I'm here for it. Day off work today with the freezing conditions. So yeah, jump on for a spontaneous live. Let's see who's in the building so far. Danny, Talksport, as always. Thanks for being here, mate. Congratulations on the 700 subs. Yeah, thanks, mate. I hit 400 subs on 10th of December. So in last month, I've done just over 300 subs. So it's been a mental Christmas time. I've absolutely loved it. I know all the Leeds bros are close to hitting that as well. So it's nice we're going through gears together. And yeah, it's great. Smash a like and subscribe, please. Yeah, on the road to 1K. I know it's crazy, isn't it, mate? It's absolutely crazy. Morning, Dan from Caesars TV. Hope everything's going well your end, mate. I hope Bridder doing all right. I hope you're enjoying the content. Morning, my mate. He says, here's one for you as we don't like Barnsley. Bridtown Academy beat Barnsley Academy 6-1 yesterday. It's a nice score, isn't it, Paul? It's a nice one. I've heard we are after Kilmarnock centre forward Phil McCracken. Yeah, honestly, it's silly season, isn't it? It is actually silly season. When you look at the transfers, it's crazy what you see. So Phil McCracken's probably strongest link we've had. Danny, to be fair, I think he comes in and starts up top against Harrogate, don't you? But yeah, I'll be doing a live review preview, sorry, for tonight's tonight about 10 o'clock at night. I haven't put it in yet. I'll lock it in after I've done this. I think 10 o'clock is probably when I'll do it, but it could be 9:30, so don't hold me to that. Just keep your notifications on, you'll see. But yeah, that'll be a preview for the Harrogate Town game. We'll look into depth, but I think the lineup will be. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. I'm really looking forward to that lineup coming out now before kickoff, because I cannot call it. I do think he needs to not go. I do think he needs to not weaken his side. I think he really needs to go close to full strength with some rotation in there. Obviously, replace the goalkeeper for me, and you could replace him with Phil McCracken, as Danny says, he'd be sound between sticks, I think, for this one. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see a Nigerian fullback. I'm not reading that one out, Paul. I'm not reading that one out. Yeah, mate, doing okay. Finally got my 100 subs. I'm happy for you, Dan. I'm happy for you, mate. That's class, that, Paul. Really good. So yeah, some reports come out today, yesterday. I put a video out yesterday, obviously, the Omabamadele. I hate saying that name. I love him, but I hope he don't come to Leeds because I just can't say that name all the time. But Omabamadele, you had the Lat stuff, the goalkeeper, Jeremiah's Ledesma. You've had a few people come out with some links, and I aren't too sure any of them will happen, if I'm honest. But the ones that have sort of come out, what are in the ethos today, are Ben Sheaf and Ben Davis. Again, I think both of these are absolute waffle, but we'll touch on it anyway. Ben Sheaf at Coventry, centre midfielder, plays a bit more defensive. He's got 2 assists. He's 18 games, no goals. Is he the sort of player Leeds United need? 1,000,000% not. I think it's come about because Leeds are top of league. They need some money to Coventry. I think they've maybe talk about having to offload a decent player. I think there's talks of him maybe been available for 8 million, which is in Leeds' ballpark. But why would we sign another centre midfielder? Like, why would, just too many in there as it is. You've got Gruev to come back at some point. I know he's nowhere near match fit, but I think he's doing well and he's recovering. When he comes back, that's another body to throw into the mix. And you've already got Ampadu, Gilavogi can't get a game. You've got Charlie Crew can't get a game. And obviously, the normal ones, the main ones, your Rothwells and your Tanakas. It's ridiculous to even put that story out there and expect anyone to really believe it. He's a good player, Ben Sheaf. He's one of Coventry's better players. We've seen that in the last few years with their FA Cup runs and stuff. Like, decent player, no doubt about it. And his deal runs out next summer, so he's only got just over a year left. So that conversation with Ben Sheaf, I'm sure, unless he signs no deal, will just keep ramping up and up and up because he's a decent player at this level. But Leeds United do not need another midfielder. They just simply don't need it. So I think that's a load of tripe. And the other one is Ben Davis. Now this is a strange one as well because currently he's injured. He's out with a thigh injury and he's not expected back till the back end of January. So he's either going to get fit and it's going to be a quick change around and he goes out on loan or signed for someone. But for me, if he gets fit, he'll be straight back in that side. I mean, we've seen currently Archie Gray playing centre half. They've got Jed Spence filling at left back. Their injury woes are ridiculous, and I think it's another easy one to put because he's been linked before as Ben Davies. There's a lot of Welsh contingent in that side. I mean, if Craig Bellamy come out of retirement in his late 40s, and he'd probably be linked with Leeds United because he's Welsh. It's one of them where I understand the link, and I would love Ben Davies play centre half as well as left back. Great player. But I just don't see it happening. Like I say, he's injured till back end of window anyway. Is anyone going to take a punt on him come the end of the window if he hasn't played for the last few weeks? I'm not too sure. And like I say, if he is match fit come the end of January, for me, it's straight back into that Tottenham team with how woeful they've been defensively recently. I know they got a good result, I think, the other night, but in general, a really patched up back line of Spurs. So I don't see that one happening. But the thing about Ben Davies is his deal does run out this summer. So is it something where there's some sort of link there potentially for Leeds to look at going into Prem? And I think Ben Davies at 31-year-old with all his experience would be a great Prem option. Like either as a left back or a centre half. And like I say, he can do both. He can do a Volbekat, he can do both, even though he's predominantly a left back who'll be filling in at centre half. But he's so experienced, he's such a good player. Whenever he's had a good running Spurs side, Ben Davies, he's always been one of their better performers. You know, I always say about Byram, he's always a 7 out of 10. I always think that with Ben Davies. Very rare does he make mistakes. He's had a very, very good career in Premier League. So for me, it'd be someone I'd look at for the summer. Maybe it's a deal we can get done. We've got a really good relationship with Tottenham. We've seen that. We've had players come both ways in recent years. Be a great addition for Prem. I just don't think it happens in January because of his injury and the Spurs injury woes in general. Getting a few of your chats. Luke Jackson, hey up, mate. We are good for a cup set. Yeah, we are. BBC, FA Cup early rounds. Come on, Leeds United, show us what you're made of. We've always been laughed at, joining on with for years in early rounds at FA Cup. Like it's actually quite worrying. It's quite nervy. It goes from being just an FA Cup game to where you think, a lower opposition should steamroll them, should get past them. So honestly, I think this has got some. I'll speak about it tonight on my preview. But I think it's got massive pressure on Saturday. Genuinely feel massive pressure on a cup game that we get maximum points against Blackburn, which we should have done. Maximum at Hull, which we should have done, or even 4 points out of those 6 points available. It isn't as big a game. Maybe Could you imagine? Even if we drew? I can't. To be fair, I can't profess to know if it's a replay. I always say an FA Cup replay if you get a draw. I aren't too sure because they changed the fault time. Actually, if it's extra time penalties, I'm sure. If I'm honest, it's a replay. Could you imagine the outcry if it were a replay or we lost this game? It'd be ridiculous. Could you imagine the outcry if he starts Melier and we lose this game? So many talking points, but I'll go through that tonight. Morning, Michael. Hope you're well. Predicting 5 or 6 nil against Halifax. Farker should get a rival goalkeeper. Be 5 for his shirt. He won't be incentivized to play. Having to work. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Against Halifax, you mean against Harrogate, mate? Yeah. If you want to see the best of Melier, you maybe need someone more to push him. It's hard to say because I am a Melier fan. But if I try and see it on a positive side for Melier, if I try and give him a bit of credit here, although I think Darlow's a decent level keeper at this level, you could argue he's had no one pushing him, nobody pushing him. It's like he's been hung out to dry. Those years in Premier League when we were conceding 5s and 6s most games, it's like he's been left hung out to dry. Really, he's never, apart from Sam Allardyce. I mean, we all laugh that we had Sam Allardyce and we all take piss out of that era, like, and look back and go, oh, how shit were we that season when we came down? But like, he's the only manager who's actually had balls to take him out, and he stands by his decision. I've seen it on one of his podcasts, and it states what everybody knows and what everybody else is thinking, bar all the other managers. It's crazy, and I think on a human level, he has to come out now. But it would be nice for us to go get another keeper. I always think, mate, Michael, that we've always had a view we're going to get a keeper for next season, whether we're in Championship or Premier League. I kind of feel like this will always his last season, Melier's, as Leeds United's number 1, and I don't think he'll want to stay here as number 2. I just didn't see them having this conversation for January. And if for injuries, if Melier gets a knock or an injury, they're always happy with the backup they've got. But I just aren't too sure if now it's something they really got to look at. And like I said yesterday in my video, that Jeremias Conan Ledesma I know it's YouTube. He looks all right on YouTube. He's got some good pedigree there. It's one of them where do you just go get that done and have 4 keepers though? I know Chelsea's come have 8, don't they, which is a bit ridiculous, but are we going to have 4 keepers? Because honestly, does anybody actually see somebody buying Melia in January? Bearing in mind, Leeds will still value him quite highly. I don't think the value Melia at 5 million. I think they're expecting 10 plus, which is wild to me. There's been no confirmation of that, but I definitely feel like Leeds think he's worth a lot more than what he probably is, so I just don't see Melia moving on. Yeah, he's got that right. Are we on the BBC Saturday? Yes, we are, pal. Look, Danny, straight to pens if we draw, is it? Even more exciting. Michael Gott says, thanks, Danny. I looked on the listings but couldn't see us listed. That's what I play. Yeah. I think Mez will be here next season. I don't, Danny. I don't. I think he's barely going to make it through January, but I think he does. But no, I genuinely don't see him being here next year, Danny. I think that's a bit of a wild take. Yeah, I don't see that. Top Banana, morning all Leeds, aren't we? Yes, we are, my mate. Yes, we are. So yeah, looking at these links we've had recently, it's obviously we don't know what the club are thinking. What I will say when it comes to transfers, like we all know, the 49ers tend to come a bit left field with some stuff. You know, Ramazani, Tanaka. I know we were linked with Tanaka the year before, but we'll always look at these people we sort of know, like I say, we're linked with your Ben Chiefs, your Ben Davises, your Omobama Dele, your Lati Lats. A lot of these players are all UK-based players. We've looked a little bit, closer to home in recent times. We've signed a lot of players from the UK, which we never tended to do, to be fair. We also look in Italy and all sorts of places for, obscure players, but they do pull some rabbit out of the hat sometimes to 49ers. It's not guaranteed who we sign, if we sign anybody that we even know they are. I definitely feel like 1 or 2 additions are needed. And I know a lot of people have lost their head recently when they've spoke or we've heard stuff from the club and they've said it's going to be a quiet window. I genuinely don't think quiet means nothing. I don't. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Quiet could mean not much noise internally in the club, and being leaked out, like credible noise. But that doesn't mean come the back end of the window, the last couple of days, an opportunity or 2 doesn't arise and Leeds don't snap their hand off on it, because I do feel like the form of Leeds after Christmas is looked poor in terms of results. 2 points out of 6. It's not good enough. I aren't going to lose my head, and I'm sure they're not behind the scenes. I'm sure they're composed. I'm sure they still fully believe in what Farker's doing, what he's going to do, what the club are going to achieve. I'm sure that they're all still on that page. But I do feel like it might have come at the right time for Leeds fans to look at it and go, maybe 49ers are going to look at this now and actually do something, because they can't take the risk, they can't take the gamble. They've took the gamble too many times in past and ultimately, slipped out of that position and not gone up. We saw it last season. We didn't, we lost a right back and brought another one in on loan, and it just wasn't enough business. Sometimes everything can be going swimmingly, you can be doing really well, but not strengthening when the others around you is criminal for me. Like I said, I don't think it needs to be wholesale changes, wholesale people bringing in. But when you look at Sheffield United now, and I text my mate Priestley, you all know Priestley from my vlogs, and obviously saying Sheffield United, Ben Brayton Diaz, they're looking at Chowdhury from Leicester. I think he's imminent as well if he hadn't already signed. And he's like, well, neither of them are getting to the Leeds team. And that's his mentality. And do I agree? Maybe. But you can't say that they're not top additions for those sides around us. You can't just say, well, they won't get in Leeds team. Yeah, but they're going to improve Sheffield United regardless of getting in our team. That's my point. Like, Ben Brayton Diaz and Chowdhury improve Sheffield United massively. Don't fucking matter if they're getting Leeds team. They're not coming to Leeds. But we need to be strengthening areas that we need to strengthen because they are strengthening. Sheffield United are already up as arse. Then they're bringing in players like that. Premier League players. To be fair, I replied to him with this and he laughed me out. To be fair, I think Diaz gets in the team as a cam. If we signed Ben Brayton Diaz, which we aren't, obviously, if we did, I think he's one of them players where you find a role for him. 100%. Morning on Leeds Bros. Hope you're doing well. I've watched your stream last night with you, honestly, a couple of times now. Anyone who hasn't seen that one with you on, which I'm sure you all have on here, there's only 6 in building. I'm sure you've all seen it. Please go back and watch it. That includes you, Darren. Rewatch it if you've not already. Bloody brilliant. Legend. Transfer deadline day, last hour. will be, don't go to bed just yet, and we let Joffrey go. That's it. Yeah, maybe. I think Diaz gets in the team as Cam. Yeah, 100%. I think he would. All right, Danny, how you keeping, buddy? Darren, all good. How's you? Yeah, so like I say, Sheffield United are strengthening. Burnley are strengthening, although I would argue Ashley Barnes isn't really strengthening, to be honest. I think that's a bit of a poor signing, but they're still bulking out the team. This kid that Sunderland have bought, his name eludes me now, but they brought him in from, I think from, is it from Italy? Or might be Spain, but he's a massive talent. I've messaged my mate Wayne, to be fair, and he's actually just messaged me back as I speak. So let me just read this out. What he says. So my mate Wayne was a Sunderland fan. I've not heard much of him, mate, but reports from France say he's too good for the Championship. He cost 43 million euros over 2 transfer windows. Worked with our manager in the past who developed him, which has swung the deal. Not confirmed, but looking likely. Loan with an option to buy for 20 mil if we get promoted. Only Messi and Neymar topped him for chances created in 22-23. Granted, that was 2 years ago, but still only 24. So there you go. That's an exciting player that Sunderland have bought as well. Really good addition for them. So you even look at Sunderland in 4th. We were creating a bit of a gap, and we've sort of let ourselves slip a bit, and they've got back in the race now, Sunderland. But you look at that there, and you think they're making additions there that they might not go up. Don't get me wrong, they might not go up at all, but they're in the mix. So when you're in the mix, I've always said this: you can attract the players in January. If you're so far down, so far adrift like Middlesbrough, 9 points off 4th currently, so they probably aren't going to be in the conversation for any sort of players at that level, if they ever were even thinking of it. Because Sunderland are in the mix now. They're only just outside that top 2. They can bring in players like that and put an obligation in for 20 million, because is it likely they go up in top 2 or go up through playoffs? Who knows? For me, it's 3 of the 4, so they've got a massive chance. So you can put deals like that in place. You can get a player who's maybe a division higher in quality. He can come down. What's he losing? He's going to be winning most weeks because he's in a form side. And if they just miss out, He's putting himself in shot window. He's potentially getting a side like Sunderland close to promotion, if not promoted. And then if he does, there's a 20 million deal there for a player that he'll show if he's worth it or not. So when you've got teams like that around us, strengthening, it's criminal that we don't. Because currently, if nobody's strengthened, if there were no transfer window in January, honestly, I think we're fine. Do I think we're fine anyway? Potentially, yeah. But the fact that there is a window and the fact that everyone around us is going to strengthen, they are strengthening, they're going to continue to strengthen. The worry is if Leeds stand still, we get left behind. And because it's so tight up there, the current squads as we've had, look how tight it is. If everybody around us, which they are, adds 2 or 3 additions to it, surely that means they're going to surpass us potentially, which is a concern because we've seen it before. Only Leeds bros, all good, mate. In work, freezing my balls off, getting my Imagine Not Being Leeds fixed. Really spontaneous live this, mate. I was going to do it as a pre-record, but as you all know, I do not like doing pre-records. Do not enjoy them at all. What's your lineup you think for Saturday? Right, Michael, well, I'm doing a preview tonight. I'm going to put it up there so you can see. It's going to be about 10 o'clock tonight. Go late like I usually like to do it, get more in building that way, and I enjoy them. But let me have a think about that, and I'll get one for you tonight, Michael. Yeah, what I will say, to generalise it, is I don't want... If it's wholesale changes, I don't mind, as long as it's the bench players who get game time, as in the players who could be starters, your Nontos, your Ramazanis, your Josephs, your Gilavoges. I don't want to see Chambers, Crew. I don't mind Crew getting minutes and Chambers getting minutes towards back end of the game, but I don't want to see 3 or 4 youths out there. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on this game now. It's gone from being like, oh, it's a fun fixture, FA Cup, a bit of break from league, to now it needs to be a win for Fark. It needs to be a good performance too. It's at Ellen Road. It's a sold out Ellen Road as well. They've sold their allocation at fair play to them. It's going to be hostile atmosphere if we go down 1-0 to a League Two opposition, regardless of the romantic side that we're playing and it being an FA Cup game. We need to go out there and do business. So I don't think Farke can really gamble too much with his lineup. Maybe I'm a bit whack saying that. Maybe I'm totally off my head by saying that. But I think it's quite a big game. I do. And I don't think we can scrape by it. I think there needs to be performance and there needs to be a fair few goals out there. And these lads need to be hungry. I do see a Ramazani, I do see a Nonto, I do see a Joseph starting. I don't want to see Bamford starting, because what good does Bamford come from starting in this game? If he scores an hat trick, what does that mean? It just confuse. Does it just mean he's got to play next game? No, I don't see what bonus you get out of Bamford playing. So for me, it's got to be Joseph who starts over Pinot, and then we'll see how it goes from that. But it's definitely a pressure game, I think, now, from being that, like I say, that fun romantic fixture. It's definitely become a game now that Farke can't deserve to not only lose or go to penalties. It needs to be a game where we can't really struggle in it. We need to look good in this game. And these people who are going to play, whether it is the kids, whether it is your Nontos, your Ramazanis who are out of form, they need to be grabbing the shirt now. They really do. I mean, the starting players, a lot of these players, your James, your Solomons, your Aronson, at the start of the season, your Pirro, these were all bench players at the start of the season. And they've all won their shirt now, and now they are starters, and they are where they should be now, and they're thriving. What we've seen since that, though, these players who were starters, your Ramazanis, your Nontos, your Pirros from last season, Pirro's really the only one that's grabbed that shirt back. Fair play. But the rest of them, they haven't. So they need to come on and impact a game. And if they can't do it against League Two opposition, they can't get up for that. Then I don't know what to say on that one. But I would like to see Nonto and Ramazani start. But I'll go into more depth, like I say, into the game for Saturday, because I think it's a really interesting. It's gone from being a game that I weren't particularly bothered about, excited to watch it. But yeah, I weren't massively bothered. I was quite gutted after the Hull performance that we had 2 weeks to wait till the next league game, to be fair, because we know that's where we want to be. But I won't lie, I want an FA Cup run. I really do. I want to see how deep we can go. I want to see what tie we get next. I don't want to just have an embarrassment on BBC like I've had so many years against your Histons and your Crawleys and your Mark Wrights. And it's been awful, hasn't it, as a Leeds fan in FA Cup. Michael got my lineup will be Mez. I've seen this lineup so many times, mate, and I think it's crazy. Mez, Byram, Gilavogi, DeBayos, Gilavogi at centre half, Schmidt, Amps, Crew, Ramazani, Joffin, Nonto. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's too many. I've said this before, and you know my thoughts on it, Dan. I think it's too many. I don't think Mez plays. I don't think Gilavogi plays centre half. I don't think DeBayo plays. I don't think Schmidt plays. I hope Schmidt plays. We all do. But I don't. And I don't think Bamford's anywhere near it if we fit regardless. Like and subscribe. Pay your rent. Cheers, mate. Darren says, congratulations, 700, Matty. That's 1K in sight now. Yeah, I think it'll take a while to get to 1K. I feel like we saw a bit of a peak over Christmas. It seems to have slowed down a bit now, but yeah, I'm buzzing, and I'm sure you are as well. You should hit 700 in the next hour or so as well. So go check out all the Leeds bros over there. Keep them growing. Watch the video with Jay from yesterday. Absolutely class. Danny talks about goal fest 5 or 6-0. I want to be in goal. It's I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think on Saturday. I really don't. I think if anyone's thinking Melier stays in goal because it's an easier game, let him get his confidence back, clean sheet, I think you're mistaken. I think they're going to have chances. I think there's going to be chance in this game, and they're a lower end side. They'll be bombing balls in box. I think it could be a difficult game for a goalkeeper. This one, because you could come into this game a little bit cold, a little bit laid back. It's easy in football to get laid back when you're playing, an opposition who's, 2 divisions, 3 divisions lower. 2 divisions lower than us. It's easy to just take the game for granted, and Leeds need to make sure they don't. And like I said, Danny, 5-0. I've said 3-0. I need to get Darren and Dillo's predictions for them as well, because we didn't touch on that on the last final point. We forgot about that. So we need to get their predictions. But I think 3-0, like I always think 3-0. I think it'll be difficult, though. That's why I'm not going more. But you know me, a lot of time I can be like, yeah, 5 and 6, but I just don't see it. I think these are going to have a right go. And if I'm honest, I actually think they might score, but I can't do it. I can't say we're going to concede, because I just hate the thought of conceding a goal. So I'm going to go 3-0 myself. But like I say, I will touch on that on the preview tonight at 10. But yeah, has anyone else seen any transfer links or rumours that they think's credible, or even a load of waffle? Because like I say, I think the goalkeeper one's really interesting, though. I do think they're definitely looking at that. I feel like it's only a really recent link. I don't think they've had any intention of getting a goalkeeper at all until the Hull game. I really don't. They've got 3 in there. Got to have a massive, bit of unluck there. You've got to be really unlucky there to lose Mez and Darlow and end up with Cairns in there. So I do sort of think they're happy with Mez. Worst case, Mez gets injured. Darlow's good enough for this division. But like I saw Darren say yesterday, and we've touched on it before, Darlow's good enough at this division. It's good enough to do the basics. Whether you think his distribution's up to point or not, I would say Melier is, because Melier's distribution's poor, very poor. And half at time anyway, he's only giving it to centre half. If you're telling me Darlow can't make a 5-yard pass to a centre half, or an Ampadu or Tanaka dropping him and splitting defenders, telling me he can't make that pass, what's he doing playing professional football? So I do think he's good enough. I do feel like they're going to use the FA Cup game on Saturday and the Sheffield Wednesday game as a little bit of suck it and see sort of moment. I think if Darlow comes in and looks okay, doesn't make any mistakes, I think they may stick with Darlow and Mez. I'm not even saying Mez doesn't get back inside at some point. Maybe he does. I do think Mez might have a couple of weeks as number 2. And if Darlow want to get injured, then Mez would come back in. They're not going to then not Mez keep Mez at 2 and bring Cairns in over him. I think he'd get in if Darlow wasn't working. But I just think it's a very worrying time if we get to that last few days and we haven't brought anybody in. I will be worried because you're only then an injury away from Darlow if he does take over and end up being number 1. From having Mez back inside, you're only a couple of injuries in certain places. You know, that 10 if Aronson gets injured. Apparently, none of his wingers can play at 10. Apparently, I've been told millions of times this season that. So who plays at 10? We've just got to send 10 bodies out there because no one can play in 10 other than Aronson. So that's what I've been told. So we must have to go buy one surely as cover, because if Aronson's injured, we're playing with 10 men, aren't we? So that's a worry. But do I think we've got enough? Yes. But it is a worry with all the teams around us. Like I say, it's so early in window as well. You guarantee Sheffield United won't just stop at two transfers. You know, they've lost a midfielder and they've lost a centre half. So they're down two starters anyway. Arblatzer and Suter going back, having to end his loan spell because of injury. So they've lost 2 starters of Sheffield United, and they've brought 2 in. They're probably still going to go and get another 2 minimum. So you could see Sheffield United have a window where they bring 4 in, maybe more. You know, Burnley, I don't think they're just going to stop at 1 or 2. Sunderland, they've done the business early. They've got in the key targets early, and then they can scope the market from now till end of window. Now the pressure's off. They're probably happy with the business, but now they can just do what Leeds are going to do and see what opportunities arise. Problem is, any player we're linked to it or we're looking at, they're looking at too, and they can probably offer the minutes. That's the stress with me with Leeds United in transfer windows. It's that nobody should ever be guaranteed minutes, but it's definitely people from, you know, higher calibers of players, people from higher positions and different divisions definitely want a little bit of reassurance that they're going to play when they're dropping down division. Because like a Solomon, if he were on bench every week, he'd probably, you know, asked to be recalled in January because what's he doing here? Like, some people only drop down to Championship even though it's still a decent level, and Leeds are a massive club, obviously, and it gives you, you know, a base to build your confidence back up and get your fitness back up. Yeah, but that only happens if you're playing. So someone like a Solomon would have been wasted at Leeds if he hadn't been getting minutes. Luckily for him, you know, he's got through his injury worries, and now he's probably first name on team sheet. Solomon, you know, he's surpassed Dan James for me now as the form player in this side and probably in this league. Michael Gott says, Connor yesterday, the One Leeds fan channel stated that Adam Pope made a statement. It will be very quiet in this window. Connor felt that meant we would not bring anybody. Yeah, but it will do. Connor will think that. You know, a lot of people read headlines and they see stuff and they go over the top of it. Like, I understand it's Adam Pope, I understand he's credible, but he hasn't said the word zero. He said quiet. Quiet. It could be quiet. And it will be quiet. The 49ers are quiet. They act in silence. You know, they don't want people to get wind of what we're doing. You know, they don't, because then prices go up. They don't. No, Leeds aren't going to come out and say, we want this, this, and this. They're not going to do it because prices get hiked up. Other teams sniff around. You can't do it. You potentially miss out on that deal. And you know, imagine if now we go for a 10 and it doesn't go through and we put all in media, we're desperate for a 10. We're desperate for a 10. We're not creative enough and we don't pull one out of a bag. And then you've got Aronson sat there like, well, what am I doing here? You can't do it. They've got to be professional. They've got to do things behind closed doors. But honestly, for me, I think you're daft if you believe that we'll do zero. Quiet can mean very quiet, 1 or 2 done behind closed doors without no noise. It doesn't mean we're not going to do anything, 100%. And I definitely think, like Danny says here, I'm not looking at transfers till final 3 days. Yeah, I'm not. But you know what I love doing? I love researching and looking at, I say researching, I say that very loosely. I like watching content. I like, you know, going on social media now and seeing what rumours are about. And like I say, I definitely will never do anything clickbait. It boils my piss when I see something. Oh, it excites me. You click on it and you go in and it's a nothing story. But I do really like talking about the rumours. I think they're really interesting. I like to see, you know, I like to have a good laugh. And some of these are like latte laugh. I am latte laughing at some of them. But it's always something I've been interested in, the transfer rumours and the transfer windows. And I do think Leeds need to do something. And I think we need to take what Leeds say with a pinch of salt. It definitely does not mean Leeds are going to do zero business just because they've said it's going to be a quiet one. They don't sing from the rooftops. They don't do a Radrazani and come out on Twitter and start tweeting. They don't do that. Nothing were quiet. Whether we did business or not, we're never quiet under previous regime because they sang it from rooftops. Oh, getting on an airplane is coming. All sorts of tripe. We don't get that because it's a proper organisation. They've got the right men in the right people, in the right job roles, doing the job to such a professional standard. So it will be quiet, but that doesn't mean we get nobody, Michael. And I know a lot of people that it's really worried them, but they are going to say that they are going to play it down. Of course they are. Just like Farke plays down Mellier's mistakes. Did we all see a mistake from Mellier? Yeah. Did Farke hammer him for it? No. Because you can't do that. You've got to be sensitive with stuff. And with transfers and money you're talking in football, the millions you buy people for, the wages, everything that's involved, you've got to tread carefully. But like I say, yeah, I don't think we do anything until the back end of the window, Danny, which is annoying because you're missing 3, 4, 5 games worth of football there that could be impacting, or getting up to speed in training before then they start playing in February. You get someone at end of Jan, you might not see him properly till March. Hey up, Joe Blackburn. Hope you're okay, mate. See, I like Connor, but he is so reactive towards what if things are bad. I get people with that mindset because it's us. That really does make 100%, mate. I'm same. So I watch a lot of Connor stuff, but yeah, he can be really reactive to certain stuff. It's definitely one of them, mate, where you can look at something, can't you? And depending on what your mood is that day, you can react to it a certain way. And I feel like sometimes someone reads a comment like that and they really go over the top in a negative way. And we all know, like I say, I know I'm waffling on about it now, but that's what I'm here to do. Just have a general chat what's in my head. And quiet does not mean zero. Like, it will be quiet. We could sign 4 players this window. It'll be quiet until the deal's done. It will be dead quiet until the deal's done. We don't even give much information to the Leeds-based journalists anymore. They don't. They genuinely don't. It's not like it used to be on the fillet and stuff, We don't hear much at all. We see the press conferences now have gone from 30, 40 minutes down to like 7 or 8 minutes. It's so minimal. That might change now. I expect today's to be a bit longer. Press is out today, which will be interesting to see ahead of the game. But I guarantee there'll be no talk on transfers. Somebody will ask him. That's if you can even hear the media, because the microphones are set so low you can't hear a word they're saying. But they'll probably ask him. They'll try and probe him. He won't give it away. His words will be he's happy with his squad. He's happy with where we are. We're top of league. He's not gonna create a circus out of this like a lot of us fans want. The transfer window is a media circus, and a lot of people get a lot of money for pushing transfers. Agent talk and all this. It's a massive. Just the transfer market alone is just huge in football. We all love it, but as Leeds fans, we've had to love it as a neutral. Transfer deadline day, we've had to watch it really as a neutral, haven't we? Whenever we've had a transfer deadline day, remember Dan James at Saga, it's always ended shit for us, really. So, yeah, it's one of them where it's a massive deal, but I do think people need to just relax and take the things the club saying facts with a pinch of salt, because they are going to pour cold water on a lot of things. But I think you're daft if you don't think that they're having meetings and looking at stuff. They'll have a short list, honestly. They'll have a short list of every single position now for next season. And on that list, there might be a few of these that aren't playing football now, and there might be a conversation where they can maybe bring them in early with an obligation for next season because they were looking at them for summer anyway. That is an opportunity there potentially that could happen, but it'll be towards the back end of the window. But like I say, out of the ones I've seen, I definitely think Omabama Dele, I'm getting better with that. There's been no credible links as such, but that is one I'd like Leeds to look at if they were looking at a defender player. Although I don't think we need a defensive player massively anyway. I think we've got enough. But if we keep everybody in, I don't think we do it. If Avoba were to go, although I don't think he does, I hope Avoba stays, he's playing brilliant. But if we were to look at a defensive player, although that German we were linked with, I'd like Omabama Dele because I think he's high ceiling. I said that in my video yesterday. I really like him. I think Ben Davies will be brilliant at Leeds United, but that would be next season because he's injured till back end of Jan. If he gets fit, he'll be playing for Tottenham because I need him. But his deal runs out at the end of this season. So Ben Davies would be great. You would think just turning 32-year-old, you get Ben Davies in on a 2-year deal as you've gone up to Prem. Decent level player that for a newly promoted side. I think the Ledesma, I reckon he's potentially on the list. I do. I've looked into him. He looks a good player. I just don't see us getting a keeper in January unless Mellier leaves, and I don't see someone buying Mellier. So that's one that I would probably say isn't going to happen. But it all depends on Darlow for me. Our goalkeeper transfer business probably hangs on these next 2 games. If Darlow comes in and looks really poor, then they've got to do something, haven't they? I expect Darlow to do okay, if I'm honest. I expect him to come in because Mellier's mistake was so bad. I expect Darlow to do okay I expect we do it a lot when Millier makes a box standard save. A lot of people, Darren touches on it a lot on the Leeds Bros. He does a normal save. He comes out and blocks a shot, and we all rave about it. Like I've done it a lot. Up until that Hull game, the Middlesbrough game. He made a couple, and I really raved about him and bigged him up, saying, "Wow, Millier." He probably didn't. It's just your expectations sometimes are so low that when he does a basic save that anybody else in league makes, like Hansen at Stoke, who gets bombarded with shots and his stats are still in top 3, like you laud him for it. And it might be the same with Darlow, because his expectations now are so low. No one's expecting Darlow to come in to be a world beater. Everyone wants a new keeper, but everyone also wants Darlow to start on Saturday. But nobody's expecting to see a world-class Darlow. But he doesn't have to be world-class. He just has to be basic. He has to let a ball go over if it's already going over. And he needs to let a defender head the ball out and not come out, to edge of his into middle of the box if he doesn't need to, if it's covered by a defender. Like, he will let him deal with it because he's already in the position to do it. If you come in, you've got to take Byram's head off for that third goal. You've got to take his head off. You've got to, because you've got to win that ball if you come in that far out your goal. So for me, I think Darlow comes in and I think he does a steady job, which I think probably means we won't get a keeper. If it goes the other way, then yeah, who knows? Top Man says smash a like from Matty. Yes, please do. Haven't got loads of people in, which is fine. It's a bit of a spontaneous live, but something I don't do through the day. I thought I'd suck it and see. But yeah, please smash a like if you're in here. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And yeah, there will be a preview tonight going out about 10 o'clock for the game, which I can't wait for Saturday. Honestly, it's gone from being a game I aren't too bothered about to being dead excited. Joe B, love the award show. Yeah, mate, we're cracking that. Cracking idea. I love your little suit as well, your little dicky boy, little class. Go check Joe Blackburn out. Sometimes I see in chat, Joe, I don't even mention it because I just think it's Joe Blackburn. Of course, you'll check him out. But if you don't know who Joe Blackburn is, like, which I'm pretty sure you all do, please go check him out. I did an award show. I put it out yesterday as a premiere. Absolutely class. Such a good idea. He does stuff that other Leeds content creators don't even think of. Brilliant. He's on his own on that one, Joe. You do brilliant with it, mate. Mackham's big side. That's him, Enzo Lafia. That's his name. His name eluded me, Gavin. Yeah, great signing by all accounts. I haven't seen much of him. I'm sure I'll YouTube him at some point today to check him out. My mate Wayne from Sunderland's Only Fools and SAFC says, by all accounts, he's a top player. And that's it, you see. With their upturning performance the last few weeks and Leeds and a few others slipping, it's gotten right back in mix now. That top 2's almost the top 4. It's so tight. And any 2 of them could go up, arguably. You still say Sunderland are probably the least likely of the 4 to go up. But hey, they're still in there after, 26 games now. They're looking good and they're making signings like that. People who are worth millions, obligation for a 20 million if they go up. Like, they don't get that. They don't make those deals if they're not 4th. A couple of points behind top. They don't, but they can because they're there and they're there on merit. We need 2 goalkeepers and make the rivals play. How hierarchy decides who plays. Yeah, Michael. I do think if we were to get a keeper, we definitely lose one, which would be Millier or Darlow going, but it'll be Millier going if anybody. I just don't see it in January. But I don't think they'd get 2. Maybe in summer, if that's what you mean, because you could argue Darlow ain't good enough to be number 2 in Prem. I'd hear that, although I do think it's harsh on Darlow to say anything because we haven't seen enough of him yet. But yeah, you could argue in summer, 100%, you want to go by 2, don't you? But that starting keeper needs to be of a decent level, and then you just try to bring in, like doing Alex Cairns and that. You just try to bring someone in who knows he's going to be a bench option, not just missing all the time in the window. But we'll take maybe up to 2 months to get. Yeah, that's it. It's to do stuff late in window. You might be talking March by the time you see him, which isn't ideal. But we saw with Gilavogi, he came in. Didn't expect him to go do a free transfer. Brought him in, and to be fair, he hadn't played massive minutes, no. But he were brought into the team pretty quick. He played minutes fairly quick to Gilavogi. So you never know. If it all depends, because you tend to think whoever we sign in January hasn't been playing much football. So that becomes a worry then, doesn't it? Because it's going to take him a while to get up to the fitness level and up to the tactics and the way Farker wants him to play. Danny says Daily Mail is the one who got fingers in the pie. Yeah, they are, mate. Ever since 49's come in, they get more dealings than anyone where used to not even read any Daily Mail stuff, mate. But yeah, they do get more tips from club than the Leeds-based journals, which is a bit shit, really. Skip, hope you're all right, mate. I love your profile picture as well. I love it. Go on, Matty. Everyone just needs to chill. The 49ers don't want to stay in this league. They want us promoted. They know what they're doing. Yeah, and you could argue they knew what they were doing last season. I thought they brought in the right players last season, Skip. We were just unfortunate that we just got pipped at post. You can't win them all, can you, pal? So, yeah, I do think The teams around us are strengthening, and it's a worry that it's so tight. I won't lie, Skip. I thought we'd be further in front than this, but you can't argue with what we've done, really. I just kind of didn't expect as rivals to be doing so well. I mean, Burnley conceding what they've conceded goal-wise. What is it, 9 goals all season? 6, 7 goals all season? It's less than 10 anyway. It's not even in double figures yet. It's scary how many goals they don't, how many clean sheets they've had. Sheffield United have lost a couple back-to-back. They've had some poor form, but they're still in mix. They're still right up his arse. Sunderland, right up there as well and playing really good. Really, really good young side up Sunderland. Really excited to see how they go in future. Don't mind Sunderland as a club at all. And if I want to pick anyone to come up with us, it would be them. But yeah, I do think they know what they're doing. So I think they got it pretty much right last season. They brought the right manager in for us. They bought the right players, and we just missed out. So I do feel like we'll learn from that, and that'll put us in good stead this year, mate. Amabamidele and Ben Davies, probs only easiest two to get. Yeah, I think Amabamidele is definitely a good shout, mate. I do. The links there with Farke, he's played with Farke before. I do think the club are looking at a centre half come fullback, and you've said that for a while now, Danny. I didn't think they would look in the defensive areas. Maybe they know something we don't. Maybe they know. There's always talk that Voba might go. It's been quiet recently, but you never know, do you? We've seen it before where he's been wanting to stay and prove himself, and then he's gone. But I don't see that happening this window. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. But Amabamidele, I think, so definitely could be a goer. Ben Davies will be great for next season, I think, with his deal running out. I think also 49ers don't have their heads in the clouds like other teams. With rash signings, they will take their time to get right deals. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 100%, mate. The won't rush in. And we don't need to rush, do we, Michael? The other teams like Sheffield United have had to rush. So because they had Suter and Arblaster out, they had 2 massive holes in their side. And I know they haven't brought a centre half in yet. They've covered the midfield spot with Chowdhury, although he is a defensive player, he can play in there. And they bought Diaz in, who obviously is a striker, but or can play off the wing. But what they've done is they've got 2 big holes there in the side, and they've gone out there straight away and done it because they've known they'll have been itching for window to open up first because they needed it. Burnley, very similar. They'll have identified positions. Well, Leeds have some positions where we need to strengthen, but the goalkeepers only just really come to light. Really, I know that sounds daft. We all know, the Sunderland issue and issues for seasons gone by, but none of us thought we'd be getting a new keeper in January up until Hull game. Now it's a massive talking point. Strikers, people are still always divided on that, but I think we've got enough. The Aronson talk's always there, but people are quite happy. We are still the top scorers in the league, I think, or right up there. We don't struggle to create chances. The odd game we do, and that's when it becomes paramount and looks like we need someone. But I do think they'll see how it goes. My worry is we have a good couple of performances. And we look at, because I'm massive on the recent results against Blackburn and Hull, setting a bit of a trend in motion to the 49ers and Farke and the whole hierarchy of the club to think, we might need this here. We lacked creativity against Blackburn a little bit. Maybe we need someone to back Aronson up in 10, and then the goalkeeper at Hull, defensive reinforcements at Hull because of people who played out of position there who were normally good. Voba's normally brilliant at left back. Ampadu's normally great at centre back. There were a few issues there. All of a sudden, you start looking at it going, ooh. But then if we go on a run for the next couple of games, because I don't think we're looking to, we're looking now, but I don't think we make any decision until the last few days. If we win us next 3 or 4 games, they might go away again. And then February starts, and if your form derails, you're back in it again, aren't you, where you're struggling. So it'll be really interesting to see how it works. It's fascinating at Leeds United because I don't think we need masses, which is hence the quiet window at Ellen Road. But 1 or 2 isn't loud noise. It won't be groundbreaking, but a couple of additions would definitely just push us off at line for me. Hopefully Darlow has a good game. The pressure now on Darlow's going to be crazy. Is it though, Skip? Do you think it is? I'm not too sure it is. I feel like it's no-lose situation for Darlow and Farke in this, because I think Farke has no choice now other than to play Cairns or Darlow, right? So he plays Darlow. Darlow makes a mistake. Say he makes a howler and he looks shit. Farke had to make that call, because if it's Melia who goes in and does shit and does a howler, then it's Farke's heads on chopping block for that one because it's his fault. But he can't do what else at me because he hasn't got another goalkeeper. So I think there's less pressure on playing Darlow, and I think Darlow himself, like, what more can he do? He's been put into a position here where he won't have expected it. You know, well, he will have done probably an FA couple of expected minutes, but in general, he won't have expected all this talk now of him potentially starting for Leeds until we sign a keeper. Knowing the likelihood is we don't, because we've already got 3 there, and we're going to struggle to get Melio out of door for money we want in January after that mistake, obviously currently. But like, I don't know if there is much pressure. I really don't. Like, I think it's a win-win for all of them, to be fair. I think Farker's got to make the right call. I think if he plays Melio, it's shocking. But I suppose you could argue Darlow, there's a lot of talking, but there'll be a lot of eyes on him. 100% more than there would have been if Darlow just comes in for this game and Melio is back for Wednesday game. No one's probably looking at it too much, but because of all this has happened, it probably has heightened the focus on the goalkeeper for this game. So yeah, I tend to agree with that one. But I do feel in general, he'll just go in with it. I can't do much worse. Can I? Like, do you see Darlow coming in doing an absolute howl like that, gifting a goal? I don't. So if he doesn't do that, as long as he does the basics right, the ceiling's quite low for what he needs to achieve in this game. But yeah, I suppose there could be a little bit of personal pressure in terms of the position it'll be highlighted more by the media, by Leeds United fans in general. It's probably the biggest talking point in the club right now. So I probably can see your point a bit there, but to be honest. Don't forget the 49ers are 6 hours behind us. They normally tell us someone is coming in between 5 and 9 our time. Yeah, they do actually, Danny, don't they? So I don't think about that, but they do. Joe Blackburn says the difference now is that Radrizzani had links with Romano because he wanted to look good. We actually have mature owners now. Yeah, we do, mate. He did, didn't he? That's a good point. That Radrizzani did. He quite liked that, being involved in social media world. We know Romano is Fabrizio Romano is the GOAT when it comes to. No one believes anything now, do they, until he puts here we go. Like, no, like, literally notes concrete until he says it, which is crazy that he's ever got to that position. It's mad, really, whoever he is. But yeah, he's built a reputation for himself, and he loved having that link, didn't he, with his pal mate? Loved it. And yeah, it's just done properly now, pal, and it's the way it should be, because we just look like idiots when we had them in charge, you know, tweeting all the time, and like I say, it's just doing it the right way. You know, you look at Brighton, Brentford, you know, some of these clubs in Premier League who do the business the right way. The clubs we need to get up there and emulate, bring the right people in for the right amount of money with as little noise as possible. And then, you know, whether they're good and they stay here for years to come, or it's a bit of a recycle. You get them for a couple of years and they move on, and they see Leeds, Brentford, Brighton as a stepping stone. You know, that happens too. But you need to do your business in the right way. You know, have the right people in the right places, and I think we finally have got that. We all thought we had that when we had Bielsa in charge, you know, and we had Radrizzani in background. We thought, bloody hell, look at us. We saw documentary, we thought the club were united. Problem was, you only had a few people trying to do so much, and Bielsa did a lot of it. There were a lot of lies in there because I knew Bielsa wouldn't come out and say the truth, because he was a very humble and loyal man. So they knew they could throw Bielsa under the bus and say, he's turning down these players. We keep giving him these lists and he turns them down, knowing full well Bielsa's never going to come out and criticise and put their shit, throw their shit on the wall. You know, he's never going to do that. So there were a lot of I think, discontent behind the scenes when Bielsa were there, and he were fighting fires for me, you know, wanting players and getting them turned down. Whereas now I just feel like everyone's, you know, everyone's pulling in the right direction. What I will say when it comes to transfers at Leeds in January, it's very difficult to predict a signing now is good enough for the Prem, and that's what we've got to be looking at. We've got to bring someone in now who's going to make an impact now, but also be Prem level, even though we're not there yet and it's not guaranteed. It's a difficult one, is January to manoeuvre, really, for that reason. Yeah, Danny's put Joe Blackburn's link in. Go check him out if you haven't already. In French means fairy. Joe Blackburn, haha, glad you like the higher effort stuff. The numbers on them are crap, but at least yeah, well, that's what it is, isn't it, mate? Like I've noticed that, you know, you can put your time and effort into quite a lot of stuff, and your numbers are crap. I mean, there you go. Like Seaside's TV said he's sub, Danny. Yeah, nice one, mate. I've had Boss Nass on a few times, and we've done some unique stuff. You know, we've done a best and worst 11 of the last like 20 years and stuff, Joe, and the numbers on it were really poor for the effort and the time and you know, the research going into stuff. Sometimes people just don't want to watch certain stuff, and you know, it is what it is, isn't it? But as long as you have fun doing it, which is mine are lives, you know, I really enjoy going live and interacting with chat and trying to pull every comment up and give everyone a voice. That's where I find my most fun, and luckily for that, for me, that's actually coming across in numbers as well. Like, numbers have gone up. But yeah, I definitely spent a lot of time with some pre-records and doing bits down it, Joe. Sorry, and it don't always work, does it? Which is a shame. But yeah, it was a great show. That anyone go watch his end of year show was. It was class, man, class idea.
Danny talks. But smash the like and subscribe, please. And please sub to the links in the chat if you haven't already. Yeah. Danny Rumours also put his link in the chat. And if you want to sub to this empty head, I'll be doing a rating on both transfer windows in February. Love that, mate. I'm looking forward to seeing you put a bit of content. If it goes well, I hope you do a little bit more beyond that as well, mate. Danny says, love how we all think we playing Darlow. I'm sure we play our second keeper, so won't that be Mez? Yeah. Honestly, can you imagine if Team Sheet comes out of Mellier's in goal? Can you imagine the uproar before the ball's even kicked? Oh, let's hope not. Let's hope not. He's even put Dan's in as well. Seasiders TV. Please follow a fellow Leeds fan who does content for his local team, Bridtown. Couldn't have said any better. Go follow him over there as well. Great content. Or was the problem, mate? Luke, he was the problem. He's still a problem. Where is he now? Sevilla, and he's still causing problems over there, isn't he? He's just a nightmare. Yeah, he's just a nightmare, mate. And like I say, I remember you sort of only heard of it, didn't you, towards back end? But like when we're in the middle of his promotion push and stuff, you thought everything was fine. You thought everything was absolutely fine. We saw documentary and stuff, and it just started to fall apart, didn't it? Yeah, Latty's a decent 9. Yeah, I'd absolutely love him at Leeds. I just don't think it happens. He's a striker who's going to cost 12 to 15 million. Maybe more for Leeds because we're a direct rival, although we're not, but they will definitely have us down as that in their eyes. And can he cut it in Prem? I ain't too sure. If you're going to spend 15 million in January, it's got to be with opposed to him being good in Prem. We've already done that sort of deal for someone like Pirro, who had more goals at this level than Latty does, but can Pirro cut it in Prem for me? Latty right now is for how we play be perfect. I think him and Pirro as your options would be unreal, but I ain't too sure if he's good enough for Prem. And I don't think they'll want 2 Pirros, basically, in terms of, because I don't know if Pirro's good enough for Prem, and I don't think they'll bring someone else in. I feel like where we're going, we'll get through without a 9 in this window, and then in the summer we bring an established 9 in who's going to start, and Pirro's your option off a bench. Where that leaves Joseph, then I don't know, because I think his ceiling's very high, but I just don't know if it's sometimes it's timings. I think if Joseph had been our starting 9 last season, if he'd been a year older and he'd had a good season last season, not gone up, had a good season this season, he could have gone up maybe as a striker at a start for Leeds. But I feel like if he ain't really getting, if he isn't setting the world alight this season because it's his first season in men's football, how can you expect him to go up to Prem, Joseph, and make an impact there? So it might even be a case of we bring a 9 in summer to rival Pirro. Joseph goes out on loan maybe. It's going to be really telling because of where we are now, where we're potentially going to be next season. It's so difficult to call stuff for January. It's so difficult. Danny talks about if Meslier plays, Farke deserves the shit. Then yeah, he does. If he picks Meslier, it's going to be. I'm going to be fuming with Farke if he plays Meslier. And Meslier can come out of that unscathed with a clean sheet. I still think it shows a massive lack of leadership. I think he needs to pull him out. He needs to pull him out, and it'd be crazy if he's starting. Because for me, if that mistake doesn't happen at Hull, I think Darlow starts this game anyway. Like I genuinely think Darlow were always coming in for this game, and Darlow will have probably been told he were going to get cup minutes, and longer we stay in the cup. Like it was crap getting knocked out of the League Cup so early against Middlesbrough, because that'll have been another game for Darlow after that because he played in that game. So for me, if he sticks with Meslier after that mistake, it's like he's saying to Meslier, go show him, go fight your way through this adversity. And I don't think it's fair. I don't. He's got to get taken out of firing line a little bit now. He did when he made a mistake against Sunderland in terms of there were a 2-week international window. International break, and he got took out of firing line there for that reason. And he had a couple of weeks to stew on it, which I thought were going to be hard and bad for his mentality, but he come through it. He came back. We kept a couple of clean sheets against Sheffield United and whoever we played after that. We went on a good run where we really nullified many shots going in, and that built his confidence back up. And then all of a sudden, you feel like he's okay. And I give him a little bit of credit over recent performances. And then against Hull, he's done that. So yeah, he has to take him out. Yeah, they do. Survivor fans do hate him, mate. Danny says, I can see him starting Mez. He's stubborn. Yeah, well, that's my worry. He's got I said it yesterday, he's got all the worst tendencies, all the worst personality traits of Bielsa without being as good as Bielsa. All the annoying things, because we forget, under Bielsa, we were so frustrated at times. Seeing Tyler Roberts on team sheet most weeks really boiled my piss. I had a lot of times where we were pulling his head out with Bielsa. Please make changes, please do this, please do that, and he wouldn't. And he's got a lot of these traits of Bielsa, but he hasn't got the... he's just not as good, is he? He didn't mind it with Bielsa, he was so good. Don't forget, people today, the press at 1:30, says Danny. Yeah, looking forward to that because that'll. I don't think he'll give much away in terms of transfers. I don't think he'll answer the goalkeeping one because I'm sure that'll come up. Who's he going to play? He ain't going to give much away, but we'll see if we can read between the lines of any of it. Really like Latte. Like, yeah, me too, mate. He'd be mint at Bridtown, wouldn't he? Latte like will be good in the Premiership. Yeah, maybe. He's got all the attributes to be. It's just we don't know, do we? We don't know. And it's a lot of money to gamble when they may hold off till the summer and go get someone proven from Europe who's played in maybe Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, who for that money they can get and then maybe have a few more assurances because they've done it in a top 4 league. They might look at that. But do I think Latte is good enough for Prem? He has the attributes to be good in the Prem, 100%. 100%. I do like him. Killer instinct, yeah. I mean, he didn't even start against Leeds, did he, when we beat him 3-1? So he came off at bench. So I don't know if he's out of favour there or what. I think they're a bit like us. They rotate the strikers a bit, don't they? A bit like we do with Joseph and Pido. We don't really know who's going to start each game. Luke Jackson, speaking ex-Leeds, I'm glad Wood is doing well. Yeah, he's doing really well, isn't he? We always knew we were a good player, Wood. Great player. Probably what we're lacking at the minute, that physical player up front. He's great. He's great in areas, Wood. He's always had a good shot. I remember that goal he did against Derby from edge at box or outside box when he turned and smashed it in off a post. Great player, Chris Wood, and it's nice to see him doing well. But it's with Forest as well, just touching on them. It's like it's that romantic bit about football again. It's nice, like Leicester winning league. You're seeing somebody who's been in our position of late. They've been in Championship, they've gone up, they've stabilised. They had that crazy window or two where they signed a million players, but you're seeing them get it right now, and it paves the way for sides like Leeds United who want to, we don't want to be a yo-yo club. I'm sure nobody wants to be, but there's a lot of people out there who just end up in a yo-yo club. We need to go up and consolidate, not finish 9th, consolidate 15th, 16th, 17th, whatever it may be, and then build on it, knowing that you've got people like them. You've got your Brightons now who are always pushing for Europe. You can become an established Premier League side now and push towards Europe, regardless of what you think, regardless of the money, regardless of all these restrictions that are put in to make the top 6 stronger and everybody else weaker. You can do it. It's just difficult. But, I mean, look at Forest. They've got Elanga. They've got, who's that lad from Chelsea, that winger they've got? He'll lose me. He was at Chelsea and he did really well on wing. And players like this, and they fall out of favour with their side, but they're still top players. You can get them. The top sides have so many good players. Their talent pool's massive. They can't all play, so then they do filter down the league, and you do get some top ballers at sides who you wouldn't assume would be pushing up the league, but they've got to go in these teams to get minutes. So like Elanga from Scum goes to Forest. He's a great talent, but he just maybe not good enough. I say not good enough for Scum. He is right now, but at the time they probably look at him and think he ain't good enough, so they let him go down league. But he don't mean he's a bad player. But yeah, it makes me excited for going up. Really does. Seeing what Forest are doing. Morning, Andrew. Hope you're well, mate. Morning, Matty. Need a 10, need a left back, need a centre back. Yeah, well, the left back's a crazy one, isn't it? Because if Schmidt were playing, you'd say we don't need a left back but because Schmidt ain't playing, you look at him like not even an option right now. So you've got Byram, Firpo, Voba, 3 options there. If they're all fit all the time, we don't need a left back. But Firpo, inconsistent now with his injuries, back to what he was like in Prem, not his own fault, no. Suspensions, his own fault. We saw that. He's back to now being inconsistent in terms of getting him on pitch. When he's on the pitch, he's been one of the best players we've had since we've dropped down into this division. I'm sure you'll agree. Byram, love him. If Byram were fit, I'd have 11 of him. I absolutely love Sam Byram. Can you trust him as a starting left back all season? Probably not. So yeah, that left back now has become a bit of a frail position. You could also say right back. We've seen what happened with Bogle's out. He's dropping Ampadu in there. I know Byron fills in for both, but I do feel like we're looking at a centre-back who can play full-back, whether that's left or right. I'm not sure. We're looking at Omobama Dele potentially. He's more a right-back than a left-back. Be interesting to see, mate. But yeah, I do feel like the defensive frailties at Leeds have been shown in recent weeks, and I do feel like they're going to look at that. Scrapping bottom of the barrel if he plays him. So you're scraping bottom of the barrel. Yeah, if he plays Mez. Buendia, Lat, promotion, Brad Little. Hey up, mate. Yeah, 100%. Imagine them two. I mean, it ain't going to happen, and I'm sure you agree with that. We ain't doing that. But yeah, could you imagine Buendia and Lat right now? Unbelievable. Yeah, like I say, it's going to be minimal, but I do think we get a couple over the line. I really do. They may even look at, you know, a defensive player and a goalkeeper, and you don't get anything in that attacking side, because as much as I'd love a striker, I'd love a 10, I do feel like we're scoring enough goals, and you can't argue with that. The stats are there, so they might not even be looking up top end of the pitch. It might just be all at back.
Farker man needs to wake up and see he's a problem.
Yeah, and I'm sure he has. I just don't think he'll admit it. I mean, he can say what he wants to cameras, like, you know, when there's no cameras around him and he goes home, he's laid in bed that night after that whole game. How can he think anything other than what the fuck are he doing? Like, how can you watch that and not see the problem? So you can't be in a position like at work. You can't, if you have a gaffer who's an absolute twat, and I'm sure we've all had him before. Luckily, when I work, I don't, but I've had it in past. You don't work nowhere near as hard for him. You lose respect for him. You don't want to be there. You can't do that. You know, you've the way he carries himself, Farker. He tries to take, you know, the heat off the players. He doesn't like to put it all on players. He can't throw him under the bus in front of media, national media. He can't do it. He cannot throw him under the bus. He doesn't need for him under the bus. He's done it himself. So if you play, honestly, I cannot wait to see what the lineup is. I cannot wait, because we're not going to find out in press conference for me regarding Melier. No question will be asked. No. People saying Buendia, please stop already. He's not dropping out of championship and he's on 78 grand a week.
Yeah, well, I don't think he drops down. I don't.
But if he was to drop down,
I think Leeds would be the one club that he'd go to. Let me just put that spin on it. I don't think he drops down. Some of these players are too proud to drop down in divisions. Like, I don't think Bamford would entertain a League One move. I think he's too proud. I think he thinks he's better than that. It comes a point in your career, though, doesn't it, where does money matter or does playing football matter? He knows the manager. He knows the league. He knows Leeds. Let's be fair. Everybody outside Leeds. It's only Leeds United fans who are panicking. Some of them are. Some of them think we're fine. But everyone outside Leeds thinks Leeds will go up. So Buendia don't think Leeds are going up. He knows Farker. You know, he ain't stupid. So it's an attractive move for the Premier League footballer coming to Leeds. 100%. Look where we are in league. And he knows Aronson's his only competition. So Buendia, if he come to Leeds and he were fit, he'd have an opportunity there to play football and win a title and then go up and get a permanent move with a club. He'd probably start for Leeds in the 10. If Buendia were fit and we signed him in summer, he'd start for Leeds in that 10 for me. Got no competition there now. And none of us would moan if we signed Buendia as 10. None of us would moan if we'd have signed Gus Hamer as 10 and had him in Prem as a 10. Nobody would have moaned with that. But does it happen now? Don't see it. Bielsa had the balls to take Phillips off. Farker didn't have the balls to... Yeah. This is probably his biggest test now, mate, this one. Yeah, we saw with Bielsa, didn't we? At half-time, if it needed doing, he'd do it. He had pre-planned subs, did Bielsa, massive. He had a lot of pre-planned subs. But if you pissed him off, you were off. Like, and you got to think, who was our best player in the Bielsa era? Probably Calvin Phillips. Right up there, wasn't he? And he still pulled him off in certain games. Need that now to fire us to promotion. Yeah, I think... fire us to promotion is the right way of putting that, because I think we get promoted anyway. But yeah, getting someone in as lethal as that, someone who with the attributes he's got, which his attributes would be mint for our side, mint. I see so many abilities to Pookie at Norwich in Latte's game. You know, that sort of player can spin off at shoulder, can get in behind, but he's also strong and physical as well. And when he gets a chance, he can put it away. So I think he would fire us to promotion, yeah. But do we spend 15 million on someone when I think we'll already get promotion? That's what they'll be looking at. One question, Farker talks 20 minutes. Yeah, probably will be, mate. It'll be a poor press conference. I've been last few. I wanted the Forest manager before Jesse Marsh, but Leeds wouldn't pay. Yeah, mate, he's a top manager, isn't he? Nunes Santo. Can't remember his name now, yeah. Great manager, and he's doing brilliant. Hudson Odoi, that's the one I know. Thank you for popping up there, mate. Yeah, like I say, Forest have got Hudson Odoi. He was linked to Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund 2 or 3 years ago. Absolute quality player at Chelsea scum, wasn't he? They've got him and Alanga on wings, Chris Wood up front. They've got, do you know what I mean? You go up now and you think the gap's so big it is, but the talent pool's so big that the top teams can't keep all talent, even though Chelsea try and keep everybody. You do get some really good players who just can't squeeze themselves into these sides. And, you know, it is strengthening the Premier League to a point where the sides that come up do struggle. But if you can just consolidate, pack your side out with a bit more quality season after season, you know, look at Forest now. We're only talking 3 years in, and the pushing leaders at the minute at the top of the league. It's scandalous.
Do I think they'll get Champions League? I actually don't. I think they'll fall away, but they'll get in Europa Cup, Europa League or whatever, which is massive. Just get any sort of European football at Forest is massive, and with their history, it's just a class story, to be fair. And it's quite sad as a Leeds fan watching these sides do that. It really is, because watching Villa do it as well. We were nose to nose with Villa, weren't we, that first season in Championship? Sorry, with Bielsa, and it's sad to see these sides who were challenging. Your Forest, remember going away. Luke Ayling interview that second season when we thought we were falling away and we got promoted. They were mid-table, outside playoffs, and now look at them. It's sad. It's sad, but it also gives me a little bit of hope that we can do something. We're not just going to be a yo-yo club. No new contract for Firpo. He can start to go abroad. Yeah, I fully expect Firpo to move on at the end of the season. It'd be interesting to see what we'd do if someone chucked 5, 6, 7 million down now and said take it or leave it, because it's better than losing him for nothing. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but I think he goes. This is why I think the Ben Davies transfer from Tottenham isn't a definite no-go. I think for January it is, but I think maybe in the summer, Ben Davies, Welsh connection. Look at the Welsh spine. You got Darlow, Ampadu, James, Rodon. You stick Ben Davies in there as well. Like, it's just a massive Welsh connection there, and would definitely be someone we'd be interested in getting promoted to Premier. He's 31 currently, he'll be turning 32 end of this year. Why couldn't we go get Ben Davies if we get, as a newly promoted side? Free transfer, that'd be a brilliant signing for me, because I think Firpo won't be here next season. Yeah, he can, mate. I'd like to see us play back three. Yeah, I'd love to see us play back three, mate. I really would. I think as fullbacks, we've met great wing backs. If Firpo's fit and Bogle on opposite side. When we've got injuries at fullback, I think there were a game recently where I sort of thought they should have maybe put Dan James as a right wing back, go to back three and have him bomb up and down. But it's something I'd love to see us do. I really would. But to do that, it means sacrificing Aronson, done it in that 10, and he's one of his favourites, I think. He had one at a job, and I did, and he's still here. Yeah, we've all had him, Dr. Cox, we've all had him, mate. It's a nightmare. Amber gets a bat. I stopped panicking about Leeds after 3 years of supporting them. I've seen it all over the years. I'm used to it now. Yeah, I know, mate. I don't lose my head as much as I used to be fair. I used to be shocking a few years back. I think when pressure, like that first couple of seasons under Bielsa, the pressure of getting up was so massive because we'd waited so long. And then we got to Prem, and that first season was just so enjoyable. Going through COVID, it was all you look forward to. You didn't expect to win every week, but we did, weirdly. Finished 9th. And then those last 2 seasons were just dire. And I really lost my shit in those seasons because I could see us get, going down again. It was really stressful. But now we've come down. We haven't dropped back, to mid-table mediocrity, have we, like we did in Championship, which was my worry when we was originally looking at going down, getting relegated from Prem. I was really worried that we were going to go back 5 years. And we haven't really. You can see that we've been a Prem side recently. You can see in the quality of the side, the quality of the manager for this division we've been able to attract to try and get us back up. So it's a good one in that sense that we have seen it all, and I don't feel like it's as bad now as it's been in previous Championship years. And that's what you get when you've had any sort of level, amount of years in Premier League. That squad does bulk out to be a better level than Championship. We saw some of those couldn't really get games and stuff in Prem. That last season he did, but it was more of a bench option. Then he drops down and he ends up being best player in league. So this is what happens when you're a Prem side for a few years. Your side gets better quality. Like Ipswich, they've gone up. People saying, they might come back down and stuff like that, but they're going to come down with a much better squad, ready for promotion push again next season. That's if they even do come down. Bamford get back to 70 grand if they get promoted. Yeah, Andrew, this is why I don't think he's bothered for leaving, mate. I really don't think he's bothered for leaving. I think he's quite happy to sit where he is and then, like I say, double his wages again when we go up. And a £20 bonus on top of that. As you get 20 quid Friday night fish and chips. Imagine Forest winning league. Imagine. I can't see it. But there's a lot of teams up there who are normally up there aren't pulling the weight. It feels a little bit like that season Leicester won it. Obviously, it's different because Liverpool are going to win it. But it's a season where, a lot of those top 4, top 5 sides who are normally there every season. A lot of them are struggling. You look down the table, Scum being like 14th, whatever they are, and City not being nowhere near it. Last time we saw this was when Leicester won league. But I don't think Forest will win it because Liverpool will be too dominant. But it's that sort of feel this season. Davies might come now. Maybe he might come now. The problem is with that, Brad, he's actually got a thigh injury, what's keeping him out till the back end of January. So I think if he's fit at the back end of January, we aren't going to take a risk on him, but Tottenham will because they need defensive cover. So that's the only reason. If he didn't have that injury, you'd probably find he'd be starting every week at minute for Spurs, because at minute they're playing Jed Spence out at left. They've got Archie Gray playing centre half. Their defensive structure at minute is all over the place. They're having to play fringe players as starters in the Prem, and they've got a lot of competitions to play in, so it's difficult. I think if he's fit, he probably stays at Spurs. But like I say, he has got an injury at minute. Yeah, he has, mate. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I think it's summer. I think it's summer. It's definitely something we'll look at. Whether we do it or not, who knows? But I think it's one we'll definitely have a look into, and he'll be on list. 100%, he'll be on list.
Yeah, Danny, I know. It really is lethal, that, isn't it?
It's getting worse. That. Let's keep turning camera around.
Give me a sec, because it's doing my head in as well. One sec.
That is lethal.
There we go. That's better. That's better, everyone.
Have a right to look at me on the wall there, probably, can't you?
That's better. But yeah,
I wanted to chin him, to be honest, on my last day. what you gaffer?
That's class. That's class. Honestly, we've all been there. Dr. Cox, 100%. Luckily, it's not like that for me anymore, but yeah, we've all been there. Unreal. Close your blinds. Yeah, I have. It's a little bit dark now, but he'll have to do. Leeds need to sign other teams' best players. Like signed where, mate, what a player he is. Probably going to be player of the year in division this year. His Bullsh signs at Norwich. It's one of them. Like, I think when you go up, you tend to do that, don't you? You know, look at clubs who do that. Ipswich getting Jack Clark. Sometimes you go up and you've got to buy the best of the Championship because it's cheaper than, you know, looking at Prem players and stuff in it when you go up. But it's definitely something we'll look at. He ain't going to leave in January, I don't think, even though Norwich probably aren't going to do anything in terms of, you know, going up or having a promotion push. But yeah, Bullsh signs is someone I'd love to have at Leeds. But like, he plays off at left, and we're just so stacked on wings out. We smash a like and subscribe, please. Yes, please do. Please like the video. Please subscribe if you're new here. If you are new here, where have you been? Danny says, I've chinned a few of my ex-gaffers just because I wanted to. Fucking quality. Absolutely love going live. Yeah, I love it. Dr. Cox again says, yes, he was a creep around the ladies at work. He didn't like me. Told him I'd bench. Yeah, class. But yeah, like I say, I will be going live tonight for my preview for the game at the weekend in the FA Cup, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to now. Like I said earlier, I really weren't asked for it. I want us to have an FA Cup run, but I weren't bothered for this game at all. It really annoyed me that we had an FA Cup game after the Hull game. I really wanted to get back in that horse and get back to winning ways, but I think it might have come at a right time for obviously certain individuals. But I'll tell you what, Harrogate are going to bring it. They're going to bring it. They really are. They're going to come and they're going to give it a good crack. And why can't they turn us over? Why can't they? It's not the easiest side we've played. We've got been beat by Histon United, was it? Or Histon? I think it was Histon United. Beaten by Crawley, Mark Wright, Towie. They knocked us out when we had Bielsa, so it does happen. So we need to be on it. We need to be on it from first whistle, because they're going to bring that extra 10, 20% that most teams do when they come Welling Road. One of my ex turned into a gaffer beating stream this. One of my ex-gaffers was David Richmond, the son of Jeffrey Richmond, and David was part of the Krasner team that sold. So is that why you chinned him? So it wasn't even work related. You just chinned him because he was part of the ex-Chelsea ownership. Is that what it was, Danny? Disgusting behaviour, mate. Disgusting. But anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. Like I say, just a little bit of touch on transfer stuff early doors on this stream. Yeah, check them out. See what you think. Leave your comments in if you're watching this after. Let me know what you think regarding the tribe that's out there. There's a lot of tribe. Like I say, I'm going to try and put some sort of transfer rumour video out every day or every couple of days, just because it interests me, really. Just because I like looking into stuff, and I don't look too deep. I skim over it. I'm not too arsed on sources, to be fair, but like the title says, you know, transfer bits and bullshit. It's not clickbait. I don't think a lot of these will happen, but I like talking about them. I like having videos. I like interacting with you guys. So even if it's shit, we'll bang it on and we'll have a little chat about it.
because it is interesting, and Leeds will be quiet. Leeds will not make zero, incomings or out. There will be noise this January window. I guarantee it. Honestly, I guarantee it. Pin this up if I'm wrong. We will sign. I think we'll sign a couple. But like I say, time will tell. Won't it? Kane's in goal. What against us for Salford? Yeah, I could see Kane's playing, but I just feel like it's too much of a risk to mess around, and put people in who are way down pecking order. Like, I don't feel like he needs to be playing all kids and stuff, like I said earlier, on outfield. And I think Kane's been third choice. I just think you stick Darlow in there, don't you? But I don't think Kane's is a bad option. He's played his level is sort of League One, League Two, isn't it? So this is his level. So I'd have no qualms with Kane's playing. I just wonder what we're going on with Darlow if he played Kane's, but Kane's should be fine in this game as well. I'm not bothered on the sources. I prefer Mayo. Yeah, well, like I say, mate, I'll have a look. And if a few people are talking about it, regardless of if it's clickbait stuff or not, we'll talk about it. And I'll just put my point out there that I think it's bullshit. I'll never put out on me that I want people to click on just for the sake of it. I was sort of debating on even doing a transfer thing because I don't want to go down that road, but I enjoy talking about it. I enjoy seeing it. So we'll touch on it, but you'll always know my thoughts just from my thumbnail, I suppose, and just from what I write about it before I even open my mouth. Like, not into clickbait stuff at all, and there's a lot out there at the minute. But if there's something on there that a few people are speaking about, and it's got a little bit of something to it where you look at it and go, I could maybe see it or not, we'll just bring it on and we'll have a chat about it and we'll see how we feel. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. An hour and 15 minutes of me waffling on probably about nothing, to be fair, but you know me, I like to get in with chat, and I'll be on tonight. I think I'm going to put it for 10 o'clock, so keep an eye out for that, and it'll be a full preview for Harrogate Town game. We'll see what he has to say at the press conference in just over an hour's time, which I think will be very minimal, but we'll have a look anyway, see what he says. Hopefully he gives us a little bit of information regarding injuries, people coming back from injuries. I'm sure he'll get asked about Melia, I'm sure he'll get asked about transfers, but I don't expect there to be much answers from him, but we shall see. Hey up, Andy, you've come just as I'm leaving, mate, but go back and watch it. Just a general waffle on about the rumours and how we're feeling at the minute. But yeah, leave it at that one. Everyone take care. Please like if you haven't already. Please stick a subscribe on the channel as well, please. Just over 700 subs now, which is going brilliant. We'll just keep pushing and growing my community. Absolutely love all the interaction. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And I'll see you tonight at 10 for the preview of Harrogate Town. Cheers, guys. Thank you.